Hello, my name is Hans George Campbell, and today I thought I'd show you guys some Commodore 64 software that I recently picked up. So let's get started. Alrighty, first up we've got GEOS, the Graphic Environment Operating System for the Commodore 64 computer. And there's the front of the box, and there is the rear of the box. So let's see what's inside the box, shall we? Alrighty. With that, okay. Alrighty. We've got the before you begin. Let me pull the light over a little bit more. Yeah, we got before you begin. Okay. It's like some kind of a quick reference guide. Okay. And then we have the actual GEOS disk. Okay, it's one disk. And then we have the GEOS manual. Nothing on the back. Yeah, the GEOS manual. It's about, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch thick, 1/2 inch thick, something like that. And then we have this stuff here, Quantum Link User's Guide. It's a like this huge fold out. It unfolds, almost like it's like poster size or something. I don't know. But anyway, there's that Quantum Link User's Guide. And then we have this thing that fits over the function keys on your Commodore 64 computer. And then we have Quantum Link special introductory offer, some kind of a code, and of course need a modem? See inside for special offer. Alright, see inside. Okay, take full advantage of your Commodore computer with this special modem offer. Okay, well, they really wanted you to get into telecommunications, huh? Quantum Link. Alright. Okay. So that's what's inside the GEOS box for the GEOS for the Commodore 64 computer. I have another complete copy of this, but no box, and that's the one I normally use with my Commodore 64 computer. This boxed copy, I usually keep it with the rest of my prized Commodore 64 software on the shelf in my computer room. I don't use this copy of it. But anyway, there's GEOS for the Commodore 64 computer. Okay. Alrighty. Next we have Monopoly. Yeah, you got to have Monopoly for the Commodore 64 computer. Okay, Commodore 64 128. You got to have that. And there's the back of the box. Okay. So let's take a look inside. Okay, so we have the original disc, Commodore 64 128 disc, Monopoly disc. And then we have the manual. Now usually, okay, this is how you can tell how old the Commodore 64 software is. If it's some of the early issue software, or if it came out in later years. If it says for the Commodore 64 and 128, okay, the software came out in 1985 or after 1985. If it says for Commodore 64, then that software came out before 1985, and it's one of the early software titles for the system. So that's how you can tell. Anyway, that's the manual. And then we have these extra paperwork for the manual. Okay. Extra stuff for the manual. Alrighty. Okay, so that's what's inside the Monopoly game box. Alright, so that's the Commodore 64 version of Monopoly. Next, we have a very rare game for the Commodore 64 computer, and that's Fantasy III: The Wrath of Nicodemus. I have this for the Amiga in the original box, the Atari ST, the IBM, and now for the Commodore 64 computer. I consider this to be one of the top 10 best Commodore 64 games. If you've never played Fantasy III: The Wrath of Nicodemus on the Commodore 64, you really should. This is in the top 10 best games for the system. And there's the back of the box. Okay. It's excuse me, a pretty nice game. And I found this on eBay. And the seller that sold this to me, he didn't realize what he had. He didn't realize how rare this game is and how valuable it is. I mean, these SSI games like this are worth hundreds of dollars each, you know. Okay, Dungeon Disc Fantasy II. Save game disc. Well, put that there like that. Okay, so I'll just dump this out. Contents of the box. Dump it out. And we have the Wrath of the Nicodemus Commodore 64 version, Getting Started. I think it's just a single, like, sheet, like a thick sheet. I don't see anything. Yeah, it's just a single sheet. Getting Started. Okay, so that's that. And then this is the actual disc, right here, Fantasy III: The Wrath of Nicodemus. It's the actual game disc. And then, of course, the manual, done in the typical blue and red ink. It makes it very hard to make photocopies of the manual. And you really have to have the manual to play the game. I mean, the game is not dock protected. It has on-disc protection. But the manual is needed because the game is so detailed, and you really need the manual to help you play this game. You know, you really need the manual. Yeah, but it's done in that blue and pink or red ink, so it makes it hard to copy it. You can't copy it. But yeah, you see all the details, how detailed this game is. You really have to have this manual to play the game. You know. Yeah. Just a lot of stuff going on here. I mean, this is a classic. This is what classic role-playing adventure games are all about. I mean, this is back when games were actually fun to play. You know, you didn't. I mean, you didn't have to have fancy graphics and sound, and yet the games were a lot of fun to play. You know, because of how detailed they were. You know, these games were a lot of fun to play. And then we have the catalog, the 1988 catalog, summer of 1988 catalog, SSI, Strategic Simulations Incorporated, the catalog for a lot of their games. I would love to have every last one of these games in my collection, but I don't think that's ever going to happen in my lifetime, you know. And it would be a very valuable collection to have every last one of these SSI games, you know. Yeah, that would be one heck of a collection. I mean, just look at all those games, you know. I snatch them up whenever I see them, because it is one of my goals to have every last one of these games. The SSI games. I think they're so nice. So nice. Yeah, they produced games for the Apple II GS, the Macintosh, the Commodore 64 128, IBM PC and compatibles, the Commodore Amiga, the Atari ST, and the Atari 8-bit computers. So yeah, love to have all these games, past and future. Anyway, that's what's inside the box to Fantasy III, The Wrath of Nicodemus. Okay, I'll keep this disc in there too. I'm curious to see what's on that disc. Okay, well, that's the rare Commodore 64 game, Fantasy III, The Wrath of Nicodemus. Next, we have another hard-to-find SSI game for the Commodore 64 computer, and that's Storm Across Europe. The War in Europe, 1939 to 45, and that's what the front of the box looks like. And this game is like in brand new condition. I picked it up from the seller on eBay for like, I think I paid $28 for this, around that. You know, I didn't pay much money for this. And yet it's like in brand new condition, a very colorful game, very nice strategy game for the Commodore 64 computer. I mean, these are the type of games that I liked playing back, you know, back in the day. I wasn't really into those Simple Simon, simple-minded games like Pac-Man or Space Invaders or whatever, you know, Centipede or whatever. I got bored with those games within 5 minutes, you know. These are the type of games that I liked playing on a Commodore 64 computer. It is the Ultima games, a lot of these SSI games, strategy and role-playing adventure games. These are the games I liked playing. Okay, so we have the manual in orange and brown. I guess that too is hard to copy. Orange and brown with, I don't know, black text. Yeah, I think it's a pretty nice game. Very colorful game. You know, very colorful game. But yeah, it's in good shape considering how old this game is and how much I paid for it. I didn't pay that much for this game. But there's the original disc, right there. And then this is some kind of a backup, probably a player disc. Software, etc. That used to be a store, a popular store for buying software. you know, computer software, etc. stores. I remember those stores. And of course, you got this this map. I mean, look how colorful that is. And that's what the game looks like on the Commodore 64. It's really cool. It's a really cool strategy game. You know, it's very, very nice. Nothing on the back. And of course, you got to have your business reply card. Yeah, you got to have that. You know, this is important. Anyway, that's what's inside this box. Okay, so there is Storm Across Europe for the Commodore 64 and 128 computers by SSI. Okay. And next we have another hard-to-find game, especially in this condition. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons computer product, Dragons of Flame, for the Commodore 64 and 128 computers. Now, this game is very hard. I mean, these games that have this silver print or gold print, every time I found these, that silver or the gold is usually scuffed up white, all the way around the edging, and it's just, you rarely ever find these in this nice condition. And when I saw the picture of this up on eBay, I thought, God, that box looks really nice. It's the first time I've seen one of these unscuffed, because normally these are scuffed. I don't know what kind of ink they use for the silver or the gold, but it gets scuffed. It scuffs up white real easy. And so this one's in really nice shape, considering how much, you know, I didn't pay very much for this. I think I paid less than $30 for it from an eBay seller, you know. So let's open it up and see what's in the box. Okay, so we've got the Commodore 64 Quick Start card, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, Dragons of Flame. Apparently it is use a joystick for movement. And yeah, use a joystick for movement. Okay. And there's the actual game disc. I think it's a double-sided. Yes, a double-sided disc. That's the actual game disc. Okay, and then here's the manual. As you can see, it's like brand new condition. I mean, oh my God, it's in really nice shape. See? Very nice shape. It's like brand new. But yeah, I love these SSI games. I really do. They're among my favorite. And just look at that artwork. Oh my God. Somebody had to draw all that black and white artwork. I mean, I know how hard it is to draw stuff like this. You know, that's really cool. And this picture right here, that one right there, this is a famous picture. I remember seeing this quite often in magazines and brochures and stuff. That picture right there, that's a famous picture. But yeah, I just love looking at this classic artwork. Yeah, it's really cool. Okay, so there's the manual. I just love that artwork. It's just beautiful. You know, beautiful artwork. And we have the new games from SSI for spring and summer of 1990. Catalog supplement. So these are the new games coming out in 1990. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty cool. New versions. Alright. And then here's the official catalog for 1989 and 1990. Explore fantastic new worlds of computer gaming by Strategic Simulations Incorporated. That's right. Just look at this. Well, we've seen the catalogs before, but yeah. I mean, just look at those graphics. Now, I admit that these graphics are probably from the Amiga or the Atari ST or even the PC, but still, they're beautiful. And the Commodore 64 graphics are not bad. They really are not bad. There's Storm Across Europe, so apparently that was a new game that came out in 1990. So, yeah, just look at that. God, I'd love to have all of those games. Oh my God, it'd be so cool. That would be one heck of a collection. If somebody had every last one of these SSI games in new condition. Oh my God. That would be so cool, you know. Yeah. Even clue books, you got clue books. Yeah. Okay, and of course, you gotta have your business reply card. Gotta have that. Yep, you gotta have that. Okay. Okay. So that is Dragons of Flame, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons computer product from SSI for the Commodore 64 and the 128 computer. And the box is in really nice condition. You rarely ever find these in this nice a shape, you know, without any scuff marks on it. I mean, this is really nice. Alrighty, the next thing I've got, this is still shrink wrap. It's brand new. The Commodore 64 128. The front cover's pretty cool. This is a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, and I love those kind of games. It's called Plasmatron. What caught my eye, though, is when I saw the picture of the back of the box. And I looked at the screenshots and said, you know what? For being a Commodore 64 game, you know, those screens don't look too bad. And it's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up. I love these kind of games. You know, I just can't get enough of these. So, oh yeah. So I bought this game just because of these screenshots here. You know, I mean, I think it's a beautiful game. But it's still shrink wrapped, so I can't show you what's inside the box, but there it is. Plasmatron for the Commodore 64 and 128 computers. Alrighty, next we've got okay, games that I get without boxes. I get these boxes like PC boards come in these boxes, and I save these boxes because they're perfect. Like when I get game discs and manuals and stuff, you know, I can put them in these boxes. I print out labels, you know, and this way I have at least some kind of a box to put the game in. Anyway, this right here is the rarest game for the Commodore 64 computers. And it's Questron. Okay, this is a copy of the game, and I printed out a nice label for it, but this is my backup copy of the game. It's one of my favorite games. But yeah, this is this is probably the rarest game for the Commodore 64 computer. Questron. It's a fun game. I consider this to be one of the top 10 games for the Commodore 64 computer. So if you've never played this game, you should. It is a lot of fun. It's a role-playing adventure game. It's a lot like the Ultima series. So if you like Ultima, I think you'll like this game too. Like I said, the game is perhaps the rarest Commodore 64 game. If you can find this game in the small, like the normal size SSI box in new condition, expect to pay between $800 and $1,200. Yes, you heard me right. It's a very valuable game. If you can find this game in the large SSI box in new condition, expect to pay between $2,400 to $2,700 for this game. Oh yes, you heard me right. Yeah. Plasmatron is a very rare game, and it commands a very high price. I mean, I paid $30 for this, just for the disc and the 2 manuals. And I thought that was a steal for this game. It was a steal. And of course, we got the manuals. We got the reference card for Plasmatron. Okay, a fantasy adventure game. Okay, and this is like brand new condition. So is the disc. It's like brand new. Brand new condition. Okay, and then here's the manual. Now the manual appears to be used, but it's still in good shape. Now this is the artwork that you'll find on the front of the box, but it's in full color. And it's an absolutely gorgeous box, if you can ever get the original line. In fact, I think this is one of the reasons why this game is so highly sought after and so valuable, is because, you know, of that artwork. I'd love to have that displayed in my room, that original box, especially the large box. Yeah, love to have Plasmatron, the original box, displayed in my computer room. But I'm just lucky just to have the disc and the manuals, the Quick Start Player Guide, because I do love playing this game. I love playing Plasmatron. It's a really nice game. Very nice game. Okay. Let's see. Put this back in here. I think what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put the discs in first. Put it like that. But yeah, these boxes, they work out pretty good. You know, and I can slide this in with the rest of my software, and I know what it is, and it's for the Commodore computers. So yeah. Another game I haven't labeled the box yet, but I will. This, too, is a very rare game for the Commodore 64, and that's Ultima II. It comes on 3 double-sided discs. This is Ultima II for the Commodore 64 computer, and this, too, is a very rare game for the system. In fact, Ultima II is the rarest of the Ultima games, and especially the Atari ST version of the game. This game commands very high prices. I mean, it's worth hundreds of dollars. Hundreds of dollars. If you can find it in new condition in its original box, it's worth a lot of money. Okay, and we have, let's see what we got. Alright, we got Ultima II, the actual manual to the game. Yeah. Now, these manuals are not done as nice as the other Ultima manuals. They're not done as nice. But yeah, this is the manual. And I think the graphics are more simple. They're more simple, you know, like sprites or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, that's the manual. And then here is the Ultima II player reference card. Right there. Player reference card. And that right there is the Ultima II galactic map of unknowns. Oh, excuse me, of known space. Because in this Ultima, you can actually, like I think, fly in a spaceship to other worlds. And so I thought that was a pretty interesting part of this game. And then we have the Ultima II player guide for the Commodore 64. Loading instructions, creating a character, you know, that type of thing. But, yeah. Okay, so that's Ultima 2. And I am going to make a label for this box. Yeah. Alright. So now, I'm going to show you some game discs that I got. Show you some game discs. Okay, I'll show you some game discs that I got. First we have Afterburner, the original disc. Next we have Alien Syndrome for the Commodore 64. Original disc. And we have Barbarian. That's actually a nice looking game on the Commodore 64. Very nice looking game. And we have the Black Lamp. And of course, you gotta have Bruce Lee. Okay, you gotta have that game. Bruce Lee. And Bureaucracy for the Commodore 64. This is Infocom. I think it's a text adventure game. Bureaucracy by Infocom. And then we have Gauntlet. I thought that's pretty cool. And we have Ghostbuster. I ain't afraid of no ghost. And next we have a rare game for the Commodore 64. If you can ever find Mule in its original package, complete in new condition, it's worth hundreds of dollars. This game is a lot of fun to play. A lot of people just love this game. I also have this, the Atari 8-bit version of this game, the original disc. Next we have, Raid over Moscow. And one of my personal favorites, Super Boulder Dash. Oh, you gotta have that. And Super Cycle by Epix. I used to love playing this game. God, I got such a high score playing this. And another role-playing adventure game by Infocom, Suspended. And last, we have Test Drive. Well, that's it for this Commodore software pickup. My name is Hans George Campbell, and until next time.